You're listening to The Financial Doctor Show. Eni Oszlai started this podcast to help others reach their highest potential, to mine out their deepest gifts, and make this world a better place. She empowers masses to be the best version of themselves and to thrive both personally and in their business. Eni invites you to discover and put to use the most powerful resources you already have and celebrate life at its most powerful level. Eni is a best-selling author, a mother, educator, speaker, music lover, philanthropist, and a believer of dreams. She's also RBC's top financial specialist in Canada.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Financial Doctor Show. And I'm so delighted to introduce you to today's guest, Miss Jennifer Ettinger. I'm so happy to have you here. How are you doing, Jennifer?
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I have been looking forward to connecting with you since we talked offline. So thank you for having me.
My pleasure. And so those of you who don't know Jennifer, you are in for a treat. Watch this. Jennifer actually is a multi-award winning social and PR strategist. She is the host of Boss Talk Toronto. She actually has been hosting the Golden Globes and the Oscars, the eTalk coverage. She has been working for CTV, for PR. She has been receiving multiple awards. She has been also nominated for the 25th annual RBC Canadian Women Entrepreneur Awards and many, many other things. I don't know, like I don't even know where to start, mentioning all your accolades and what you are in doing. But you also have another business as well, other than the PR. So you have Pink Dreams, but you also have Fit Your Style. And you are really, really making waves and making big changes in other people's lives. And so I'd love to really have you here and talk about your journey and what are you doing and how you are changing the world day by day.
Oh, wow. That's a great question. Thank you. Fit Your Style is the foundation of everything that I've done. So I was bedridden many years ago with chronic fatigue and fibromyalgia. That became the impetus to become my own health advocate. And I discovered holistic practices. Holistic practices, fast forward, changed my life so much so that I became a certified personal trainer 17 years ago. And I've worked both sides of the border with a company called Fit Your Style. What is Fit Your Style? Fit, fitness. Fit, F-I-T in New York City, where I have my undergrad and my master's degree is from. Your is to embrace your individuality and your style. Like, you got to find everything in life's got to fit for you. And that's what's so key, I think, in terms of being successful and happy, is understanding boundaries and understanding how to stay grounded and have that overall well-being. So working Fit Your Style caught the attention in Hollywood, serendipitously through one Facebook post. I asked that I wanted to meet some people when I was going to California for a trip. They said yes. I went on a tour of a television show, all excited, sat in the host seat, had a great time, to find out that they wanted me to come on air. I went on air, and the rest, they say, is history. So for 8 years, I've worked on both sides of the border as a social media correspondent for various different outlets with my trusty old little phone. I was going to show you how, like, just this is all I do. I don't have bells and whistles when I'm interviewing talent. It's just this. And I say that with love. So with all of that created an agency called Pink Dreams. And Pink Dreams does have meaning behind it, just like Fit Your Style. Pink, it's purpose, integrity, newsworthy, kindness, karma, determination. Your reputation is everything. To work at your own level of excellence. Think like an athlete when we're down on the ground and we can't keep going, that we crawl to that finish line, because we all have ebbs and flows. We all have highs and lows. It's called life. Mantras. So surround yourself with positivity in terms of mantra and your mindset. And the S is Pink Dream Success. And that became an agency as well, where I curated and work with an incredible group of people across the United States and Canada and into Europe as social media correspondents. So that's a little bit of what I do.
A little bit, yes. You just took over the world. You are operating not only in the US and Canada, but you just said, and by the way, in Europe as well. I love it. And we didn't even mention the fact before that you are also a best-selling author of Fit Your Inner Goddess. But, let's talk about everything. So, you talked a little bit about, what you were doing, but what was the journey? I mean, I understand that, the Fit Your Style came from, you wanted to get better and you discovered a holistic approach to get better. But then how did you become a PR and social media correspondent? I mean, that's just amazing.
That really, yeah, I've never gone to school for media. I've had 2 television shows, a radio show with CBS. And then have worked for television, and I don't have a media background. I didn't go to school for media. All serendipitous, to be honest. I really believe that when you have good intentions and we're not perfect, we're human, but when we strive to be kind and compassionate and empathetic to other people, I do believe that the world opens to us. And I think that's what happened in my case. So really that one Facebook post, I have to share, like, social media has been wonderful to me. I've sold cars for car dealerships on Facebook posts. I've received diamond earrings when I lost my earring from my husband for the birth of my daughter. When we went out one day, a jeweler I never met before replaced the diamond and sent me a diamond earring. Obviously my career in media happened through Facebook. Over and over and over again, I have had Instagram has been so wonderful in connecting with various talent for my own shows. So it's just incredible what can occur when you just allow and open yourself up for possibilities.
Absolutely. But I mean, obviously you must be doing something right. So not only are you very open-minded, but you are obviously doing something right. I mean, it's extremely special that you have been invited to LA, and then you were so humble, as you said, yeah, I went on air. Yeah, well, and then in the next section of the interview you say, yeah, I had so many shows. I mean, that's quite impressive, right? Not only that, but then you also launched and the e-talk coverage for the Golden Globes and the Oscars. I mean, that's unique on its own. So do you mind just sharing how that came about?
Thank you. Sure. So when I was invited to do the television show in California to be the commentator, it was for a show called Insider Television. And 4 weeks after my first show, I was invited to be part of the Twitterati, which is a collective group of people who have brands who come together and would work various red carpet shows. So my very first tweet chat, I didn't even know how to tweet. I'm invited to the Twitterati and I have no idea how to tweet. So this beautiful soul, his name is Sebastian, took me under his wing. He's in Hollywood and he's in the film industry and fashion. And he said, you know what? Welcome to the pit. When in doubt, retweet. And I should share that they all had cords and multiple laptops and phones. And I had a pink Dell at the time. Everyone's a Mac. I've got my pink Dell. And I'm like, oh my goodness, what is going on? And so it was just beautiful how they invited me in, and I just had a learning curve. And what I love so much about how the entry point into covering things for Access Hollywood, Vanity Fair, Entertainment Tonight, CTV, forget anybody? I think I did. Insider, was the fact that they all allowed me to present things through my lens and through my view. So nothing was ever cookie cutter. It was specific to me and the questions that I was able to ask. So I was very fortunate that way. So invited to the Twitterati changed my life in terms of opportunities. And then I kept seeing on the same flights to California, the crew in Canada. And so I literally pitched them on an airplane in terms of this idea of a social media correspondent in Canada. And the beautiful thing that happened with this in terms of serendipity again was the woman shared with me, where do you live? Like, are you in LA or are you in Toronto? And I said, I live in a place called Aurora. And are you ready? She said, my daughter's name is Aurora.
Wow.
So I tease that my next book is going to be called The Mile High Club, because I've met so many amazing people that have changed my life on a plane that I want to reboot, shall we say, like the TV world, what Mile High means. And I pitched them properly, and I had a beautiful, almost little over 4 years with CTV as their social media correspondent, but also working as a brand strategist behind the scenes.
That's amazing. You know what? This is real fun. And because you're already a best-selling author, Find Your Inner Goodness. Tell us more about that book. But now that we know that number 2 is coming out, I can't wait to read that. So share a little bit
So
about
behind me, you'll
yeah.
see it's there. It's on my shelf, Find Your Inner Goddess. And Find Your Inner Goddess is a culmination. So I really feel, when you were asking me too, like, success. I'm a researcher. That is my background in terms of working. I'm trained in research, and I believe that I've researched everything in my own life, and then I love to share what I learn. And I think that's been one of the reasons why on the out world there's been success, perhaps, is that I'll research and I want to share. I'll research and I want to share. And thankfully, it's received. So with Find Your Inner Goddess, that is a culmination of fitness. Your Inner Goddess was the history of goddesses that I learned within my master's degree and my own studies as well, in terms of art history and my own spiritual path of understanding goddesses, and creating a 12-week workbook. So most importantly, you're going to see, if you could, there's 5 hot pink shapes. We're no longer apples or pears, which is so defeating to a woman. This girl is a former pear. I'm now known as a goddess number 3. Sounds a lot better to me than being a pear. And one that went to fashion school before the J-Lo was fashionable. It was really tricky. So that was, again, I wanted to write a book where, hey, sister, girlfriends, I get you. I get that you're not comfortable, that maybe you're more bottom heavy. So let's understand how to work out for your body shape. Let's learn to love what you can't change. Let's work on the mind to see how we can be a little more gentle with the parts of you that they're going to be with you for the long haul. And then let's identify and understand, what can we build on to change so that you feel more confident and find that inner goddess within you. And that's what the book's about.
I absolutely love it. And you know what, with everything that you do, the book, your companies, and just as you said, your research and your genuine and very authentic sharing on social media really brought you becoming, one of Canada's top 1 health influencers, and at the same time recognized leaders of social media. So now let's bring all this back to the companies that you have, because you really have 2 companies, Fit Your Style and Pick Dreams. So what are the services that you offer? If you can just share that, please.
Sure. So with Fit Your Style, it is a fitness and holistic well-being company. So I personally train. I have been for 17 years, either in studio or virtual, depending on what's going on in the world. And so even with that, it all stems with the mind before we get to the body. So it's been a mindful practice of fitness, shall we say. And especially as I evolve and understand, it's more about mindful evening and mindful movement, and less about reps and sets and putting this pressure on ourselves. So again, I have many clients. I love working with my clients. They're the best. And we work on their holistic well-being. So whatever it is that I am the mentor, but we work together to create a plan for them based on what their priorities are, based on a couple of exercises that we do. And together in tandem, we work for them to feel more holistic and grounded in anything that they do. But the social media side is a holistic approach. This is where, and I want to share with you something about a Game Changers nomination I just received. And when I look at social media, it again stems from everything over at Fit Your Style. So compassion, kindness, empathy, putting light out into the world, those are not just BS taglines. This is the way I've lived my life, and I've learned for 27 years from having various mentors. I've learned from having dark, dark times in my life, which would probably one would gasp over. I've learned from those that the way that I can make change is to be the light. And so even in the social, my working with leaders, I help leaders connect their social and build communities. But we do it through an empathetic, compassionate way. It's not going to work for everyone at all. I can share that with you right now, which leads me to a really lovely recognition I just received this week from a Forbes writer on LinkedIn who placed me in her top 30 of game changers. And the only reason why, normally I don't bring any of this up, but the reason why I'm bringing it up is that it came at a point where it really lifted me, because there are times as someone who works outside the box, not everyone can understand that, or there's fear around it, or there's apprehension because I don't get her and I don't get what she's doing. And I don't think, it's not the mold. It's not the wheel. I've got my own pink wheel, and I like to just work within my pink wheel, I should say, my wheelhouse. So getting that nomination or getting that recognition as a game changer for anyone out there, whether they're a male, female, entrepreneur, whatever it is, to really step into your own individuality, because there are people that are going to accept it and there's going to be people that don't. But it's so beautiful when your uniqueness is, people respond to it. And that is a gift. And so I hope out of anything that happens today with our talk is that I hope that resonates with people to keep doing, be aware, but don't compare is what I like to say.
That's actually a very good advice. And, especially because you brought up COVID and, we have been in touch throughout, I believe, the entire pandemic. And I've seen what you have been doing. And just as you said, you really brought light, and you are still continuing doing it every single day. I mean, if it's nothing else, then it's simply an uplifting post that you are putting out there, really just, to bring the sunshine, those little rays of sunshine to other people's lives. But, seeing what's happening, and you are such a mindful individual, what would be your advice to others out there, something that you don't mind sharing today?
I'm going to kind of answer that in an indirect way. So during COVID, we're all dealing with it in our own way. We're all processing in a different way. I'm exhausted. I have never worked so hard in my entire life. Am I grateful? Yes. Do I have only champagne issues? I have a house. I have more food than I need. My family is safe. Anything else is a champagne. We could crack some if you like. There's some behind me. Pink.
Listen, Aurora is not too far.
Champagne issue.
See you later.
So when I was trying to process and understand, because we do have good days, we do have bad days. That's called life. I always say you're either in a crisis, coming out of a crisis, or someone in a crisis. Right? And so with all of that, I sought out the experts. I kind of went back into Hollywood and I picked some of my, I dare say, favorite people. And I said, hey, we're in COVID. You're experts on all of this stuff. Can I I want to create a series called At Home with Jen. And At Home with Jen is just a casual conversation with you, guiding us through your expertise. So if you go to IGTV, Claudio Aprile from MasterChef Canada talks about mindful eating. Jennifer Candy, that's John Candy's daughter, the comedian. She talks about how to find humor during tragedy, humor during difficult times. We had a FBI-trained female police officer talk in conversation about coping skills during COVID. New York Fashion Week designer discussing the power of just getting into clothes for a Zoom. Doesn't have to be a dress, just getting into the power. And what I loved about this entire series is that I white papered it and went behind it with academics and with science. So it's interesting to see how the specialists had their belief systems, but there's a lot of science that went side by side to their expertise, which I think is kind of cool.
That's amazing, actually. I love it. So basically, you created a scientific research again, just as you said, you research something, and then you get it out there and make it happen. You really are an action-packed girl, and you always like, I love it.
I love that. Thank you. I like that. I want to be called an action-packed girl. You make me feel like a action hero figure.
You are. You know what? It's about time to create a pink action figure. Here you go.
I like that. Well said, my friend. Thank you.
Very good. Very good. So, I mean, I hope that our audience is starting to sense, but, why don't you tell us how Pink Dreams is a different, model when it comes to, PR and social media marketing compared to other traditional social marketing agencies?
Sure, that's a great question. And again, I think it comes down to, do I believe metrics are important? Yes. A client needs to understand the ROI and result. But I say, it's not always linear. It's not always we're here to the ROI here. We've got to go on a journey of sharing your messaging and starting to converse with people, which takes us different ways to build community. And that, to me, when we lead with the holistic, we lead with the emotional, this part comes. You do get the ROI. I would say 9 out of 10 times, people are happy. You do get the ROIs that you're seeking. But again, we're doing it from an emotional component. And I think what's really important is we're listening to what your potential clients need. Lots of times we like to talk. Like, this is fun. I get to talk. You're allowing me to talk. But many times, and this goes back to the mindfulness, we need to listen. And if we listen to what's happening and we understand the needs of people that we feel we can serve and be of service to, that is where the connection, which I call social synergy, happens. So again, it is a different journey approach, a more human approach to social media, which you will get the traditional ROI metrics to go with it. But it's about listening and being human in your content.
I love it. And you know what? You just dropped a term, social synergy. Do you mind elaborating on that, please?
Sure. So it's one of my favorite terms that I coined. And I believe that we are all time starved. And one of the things I want to thank you for is you've kept yourself in front of me, and you've always checked in through COVID. And I thank you for that, because you're time starved. I'm time starved. You notice I didn't use the word busy, because busy is overrated. Namaste. I want to be productive. I don't want to be busy. Busy is exhausting. I want to be productive. And so with social synergy, if you take the time to DM me, if you take the time to say good morning to me on my post, oh my goodness, that is the biggest gift you can possibly give to Jen Ettinger. You've given me your time. You've given me your appreciation. So the least I can do is reciprocate. And I call that social synergy. Yes. Yes. And what that means is I want to acknowledge and thank you for taking time. And depending on the schedule, it goes as deep as it can go. So if we're our heads are down in terms of various clients here, and I like to sleep, so I create boundaries about my availability on social, at least I want to thank you and say good morning. If I'm in a little bit of a low, well, then I want to pop on in my perfect world and love on your own accounts and show you how much I appreciate you. So that is what I call social synergy. It's that exchange of time and emotion, respect and appreciation.
It's beautiful. And I mean, you definitely are practicing it day in, day out. There's something else that actually you brought to others to enrich their lives and elevate them, other than the two companies that you are already running, which is Boss Talks. Can you share a little bit more about that?
Yeah, thank you. And thank you for popping on to Boss Talks too. I'm so excited about Boss Talks. Boss Talks is a community for women that is a mentorship community. And I've known the founder for many years through Vanity Fair. And I've always loved her warmth and her genuineness. Even in the dog world of fashion and entertainment, you're still drawn to those people where vibes don't lie. We both know that. We can do whatever we want up here, but vibes don't lie. And that's what I feel with Boss Talks. The vibes don't lie. They are incredibly successful women. And what I mean by that, I call it front stage and backstage. So that front stage persona, They're in Forbes, Entrepreneur, CBS News, Today Show, Good Morning America, Fast Company, Medium. They are in it. They are being recognized for their efforts. That's lovely, but there's a warmth to them. There's a desire to mentor other women. There's a desire to have a conversation. We call them fireside chats. And then take it further with Boss Talks. It's not meant as a traditional podium presentation to a guest. We want to break that barrier down and bring you in the front row so that you can have interaction and you can ask your questions and you can get in front of either during that time or outside as a community member with that mentor. So we're breaking barriers, which I love to do. And yeah, I totally think that, again, it's a game changer.
I love it. Now on that note, I mean, you have been doing so many things. Not only are you running your company, and then, you just became the host of Boss Talks, and, the other thing that you are doing, because you're always so giving, and you talked a little bit about it through the social synergy, but really you do more than that. I mean, I'm seeing on your post that you are really giving back to your local businesses and everything else. And I know that community is so essential for you. Can you share some of your recent projects regarding community?
I'm so glad you brought that up because my heart's so full of joy right now because I, first of all, every day wake up so grateful that I get to do what I love to do. Now, that doesn't mean I don't have bad days, but I wake up grateful that I get to do what I want to do. And during COVID, when you asked about COVID, one of the most beautiful gifts I've been given is to serve as social media correspondent and ambassador to Explore Aurora. And exploreaurora.ca is my home, my community where I've lived for the last 13 years, and getting out front and center and meeting with the small business owners and learning how they are open, how they're available, and how they're servicing our community, whether it's in store, whether it is curbside, whether it's delivery, and showcasing their uniqueness, their talents, and their passions. So yesterday I was out in a pink Santa hat with a electric candy cane, going around town, surprising and coming in and getting social distance photos with my mask on and getting some photos, and even outside the stores, getting some photos so we can love on them and showcase them. And this site is a culmination between the chamber and various parts of the town that have come together. So at exploreaurora.ca, you can find all the small businesses and how they're open safely and effectively. And the coolest other part is speaking to people in the community. And I had a client today, and I shared with her about this really cool store. And she's like, I never even knew existed. I never even knew. I've lived here my whole life. And today I saw her. So we talked last week, saw her today. Where did she go this weekend? She went to the store and she bought all these holiday gifts from this new store she never heard of before. So it's passing that light. It's passing that torch. They're the skilled ones. They're the ones that are bringing their gifts in terms of their small businesses. But it's really cool to be a conduit of it.
I love it. You know what? You really are a light bringer in every single thing that you touch, in every project, in every business, in every, just giving. And that's impressive. Do you have just one last advice to our audience in terms of, let's say they are business owners, and just as you mentioned, are really elevating, your local businesses. But even if, someone is watching this outside of the Aurora area, is there any advice that you can give them if they are businesses?
Yeah, that's a great question. I would say collaborate, collaborate, collaborate. So social media is free. Forget ads. Just forget all that and go to the heart and find other stores that are like mind and come together as a social community. Start commenting on Facebook groups that are within your particular area, showcasing and showing photos. It may take time, but the end result is really beautiful that you're able to get in front of people, because I can share whether it's Aurora, whether it's not Aurora. There is a great hashtag you can follow called #CanadaUnited. And that hashtag is bringing everyone together. And there's another one, Loyal to Local Challenge, Loyal to Local and Loyal to Local Challenge. But all of those are across Canada looking to help and support our small business owners. So there are things out there for you to do. And maybe check with your town, because I know many towns are rallying together because We want people to shop local, support local, so that we can all thrive again.
I love it. Such a valuable advice. So Jen, if someone wants to get in touch with you, either because they want to learn more about the Fit Your Style or the Pink Dreams or the Jen Talk or the Boss Talk or, the community support and the many other things that you are doing, how can they get in touch with you?
Sure. So you can go to jenniferettinger.com and there's a contact us page there. You can put in whatever it is that you want, or on Instagram and Twitter, it's @FitYourStyle. And on Facebook, it's Jennifer Ettinger @FitYourStyle.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you today. You have been such a delight, and I'm absolutely blessed to have you in today's show. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. It is my pleasure and honor to be here. So thank you for thinking of me. And stay safe and be well.
Thank you.
Pink dreams.
Pink dreams.
Thanks for joining today's podcast. Eni's podcast showcases various talents, helping you develop the winning mindset to achieve massive success. Want a change in your life? Connect with Eni. Call her at 416-543-6127 and follow her on Facebook and Instagram. Click on the links below.